Okay, while trying to fit the new photon torpedo part, which I have hollowed out the tubes for. Man, those are small tubes. I realized that once it's placed in there, that there's a large gap. So I am filling that with red putty, because it doesn't really need to be strong, just needs to be closed off, and let that dry, and then chisel and sand that into shape. I also have attached the rear of the ship to the hangar bay. You can see a little bit of the hangar bay. I did not have the decals, so I actually had to draw in those lines by hand. I hope I got them right. I pushed through some fiber optic through an angled hole here, back so that it comes out back where this comes in, so you don't see it on the underside on the ceiling. As you can see, there's a hole there where I had originally drilled straight down, and then once I put the pieces together, realized, no, that's not going to work. So that small hole there will actually be a small light because of all the flood lighting that's going to be around here, and that light will come through here. This needs to be light blocked, and unfortunately I didn't light block it back in here, so there probably will be a little bit of bleed on the blinker. And then this fiber optic will go, obviously, to the collision blinkers. So that's that piece. I have started to remove the inside tape so that I can start the collision indicators on the nacelles. And that's it at this point. Slow progress, but at least it's progress. Catch you next time. I almost forgot when I was working with the deflector. Boy, getting the flash off the end of this was fun. I realized that my deflector dish is cast in blue. And my plan was to have this change colors. Well, it's not going to work very well if the deflector dish itself is blue. So I will try the colors behind it, but if that doesn't work, I may have to cast up a clear version of this. There's a lot of fine details, so it might not work well, but it'll be a fun thing to try. If that doesn't work, my Arduino circuit will still have the color change stuff in it, but this build will only have a white LED behind there. Alright, because the original part is cast in blue for the deflector dish, I made a mold of it, and I'm going to pour some clear resin. This is the same resin that I used for the Bassards on the original Enterprise that I did as the USS Congo, so this should work pretty well. It only took me 3 tries with that one to get the combination correct, and that was, I was trying to make it colored at first, and that didn't work out. So I'm going to make this clear, and then I'm going to use smoke behind it so that I can diffuse it a little bit. Unfortunately, that brush just dropped a whole bunch of hairs, so I'm going to have to go pick those up before I mix it. I went to go pour the clear resin, and my resin had seized up. It was cured in the can. So I went out to buy more resin, and the same brand didn't have the same kind. This one is a 50-50, so I'm hoping I have better results. The old one that I had required a couple of drops of a catalyst, and that catalyst tended to be really temperamental to be able to get a good combination. With it being 50-50, use some measuring cups, and I should be good to go. A lot easier to deal with, and that way I don't have to do any fancy math going between, well, I'm only using 1/4 of an ounce instead of a full ounce, and it's supposed to be 3 drops for that, so I'll put 1 in. Maybe that's too much. Maybe I'll use a little extra and throw it. I don't have to worry about that. It's 50-50. Whatever I put in one cup, I put in the other cup, mix them together, good to go. Pour that. Excuse me. Oh, okay. So I've been working on the warp pylons while I was waiting for that to happen. And what I've done is I've got the LED tape along the top on the same side as the clear on the inside. And this is going to keep on bothering me until I actually listen to it. Okay, quiet. I'm busy. It's my friend Daryl. He's always calling or texting at the wrong time. It's always an inconvenient time. And sometimes he thinks that I'm ignoring him. Mostly it's because he's trying to contact me when I'm doing something else. Anyway, I put the LED tape in here, and I'm going to bounce it off the other side and see if that's going to be smooth enough. I hope so. Not a lot of room in here to do anything else. I've used a 3mm white LED for the blinker, and I'm using some ballooned 1mm fiber optic to do that blinker that's on the end. It's together. I have both of them. The white glue, PVA glue, is drying. That's holding the fiber optic to the 3mm LEDs. Once that's dry, I'm going to light block them because I don't want them picking up any of the blue on the inside, and I don't want the blue picking up any of the white flash. The other thing that I've finished is the shuttle bay is together. I have also put ballooned fiber optic in for that blinker. That I'm going to have to mask that and paint when I'm painting. Tiny things on this one. I think that's the theme for this year. Between the Titanic and this, everything's so tiny. The other piece is the photon torpedo bay. I hogged out the area where the kit part would go in, and I have filled it in because with the aftermarket resin part, it would leave a hole that you'd be able to see. Don't want that. So that's filled in, and I have that boxed out pretty nicely. And then on the look at how much smaller this is than the 1350. That's the whole subsection of the photon torpedo bay that I'm lighting with two colors. What I've done is I put 3 of the 1mm fiber optics into each side, and I'm going to take the 2 outside strands and make them the red, so when you get the ramp up it's nice and bright. And then I'm going to use a really bright white LED on the center one to get that flash, but the red will still be there. I think that'll be a nice effect. I put the fiber optic in partially, and then I filled on the top with some microcrystal clear to try and smooth out the color a little bit, but it's so small it'll look nice. It'll look just fine. Just keep telling yourself that, Angus. The other piece that I've been starting to think about is how I'm going to light these windows. I might try and cut down some LED tape and put it along the back so that it shines forward and bounces around in there. Once I've got this painted and I have the microcrystal clear in the windows, I think that'll be sufficient. I did put in the brass etch doors. It looks so much better. So it's coming along, just not as fast as I'd like because it's set back with the clear resin and just how small everything is. I need better glasses, I think. More patience, more time. It's going to be interesting to get this done before the baby comes. Gonna keep at it. See you soon.